How are we doing, everybody? Welcome back to the Sean Atwood channel. I'm Ron Swanson. I'm here with Paula M, and we're going over the Norway's royal scandals as far as the Epstein files is concerned. I need to make an announcement, though. I'm having a complete system failure here. My streaming software has failed. All of my ability to get my camera and to put things on the screen has failed through errors within StreamYard. So if I suddenly drop in and out of the live, it's because of that, and Paula's going to have to hold down the fort for us. But she knows what she's doing. Paula, how are you doing? Looking fabulous. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Ron, for having me.
Well, look, if you can pull up on the screen the first wonderful individual from the Norwegian royals that we're going to dive into. I believe it's the Crown Princess.
Mette-Marit? Yeah, that's her.
See how easy all of this is when your stuff works, just like that. Fantastic. Yeah, take us through this all, because I mean, you've got quite a lot to say about Norway's royal family. Before all of this broke, you've been talking about a lot. In fact, most of the Sean Atwood associates have been talking about these things for years, and now it's finally all coming out in black and white. People are able to do their own research and dig through these files, and they've discovered a little something about Mette-Marit. How do you say Mette-Marit?
Mette-Marit.
Mette-Marit, okay. And here she is styling a slick hairdo to get us off with. So take us through this, Paula, and thanks for being here.
Thank you. Well, it is very interesting. I actually flew to Norway in August 2001, therefore to baptize my son. My son had just been born, and I believe they got married in August 2001. And most of Norway was opposed to this, but it was fantastic. I remember watching this and thinking how they shamed people who were against that union into feeling like something is wrong with you for not praising this union. In fact, King Harald's sister said that she would never, that Mette-Marit and her son would be the death of the Norwegian royal family, that, you know, she couldn't wait, that she wouldn't want Mette-Marit to sit on the throne. And everybody vilified her because how dare you? This is such a feminist. This is so progressive. You know, she's a single mom with a 3-year-old kid, you know, waitress. I mean, and they gave her the title waitress because she wasn't really a waitress. Let's get off the bat. So just to make you understand that if the best that they could come up with was that she was a waitress, so they try to spin it as a Cinderella story. And, you know, something is wrong with you.
Did they make any comparisons to Diana about how she was broke off to be a single mother or anything like that? Did they try?
No. At the time, no. At the time, Norway was just like, we're trying to be so progressive. Rights, you know, like he is so advanced and blah blah blah.
Okay, I'm with you. And
at the time, the thing is, when you're in Norway is such a particular country. It's a very interesting country. It's not on the world stage per se. They're incredibly wealthy, but they're very xenophobic and racist. Most of them. I'm not saying all of them, but there's a huge element of that in Norway. So you don't hear a lot of news, and it's like everybody knows. And whenever you talk to them about something that's going on, they say, "Yeah, we know, but that's Norway." You know, so everybody knew. This is why she was made to apologize during the engagement. She gave a speech before they got when they got engaged, and then people were so outraged because people were saying, "Is this the best they can do? He can do." This woman had been kicked out of Australia and India. I believe that until recently, unless they removed that from their website, there was a trafficking charge against her in India. They tried to spin it as though, oh, she was helping this gay couple who needed, like, you know, a surrogate kind of thing. You know, like, are you telling me that you can't do that in Norway?
Okay.
Or any other country? It had to be in India, and in India that is illegal, right? So, but they spun it like that. They spun it that. So this woman, for you to be kicked out of Australia says a lot. She was caught because of drugs and problems. This woman was engaged to and living with the father of her son. They were a couple. He is one of the convicted, most notorious drug lords in Norway. Violent.
I couldn't believe that when you told me this, right? Because I mean, just say that again. Like, Norwegian royalty.
And it's funny because if you go to the Wikipedia page of Marius, her son, his name doesn't appear on the, let me see if I can bring that up. His name doesn't appear. You have to read, the whole biography to get his name.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Let me see if I can pull it up here because I was really interested here. I don't know if you want me to show it to you. I'll be more than happy. But
we got to watch with emails where they've not fully redacted every email.
No. This is Wikipedia page.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, of course, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So I'm sharing it with you. So you see, this is the official Wikipedia page, right? You see that it says that his mother is Mette-Marit TSM Høiby, right? But where is the father? And then the relatives, Håkon, Crown Prince of Norway's stepfather, Princess Ingrid Alexandra, who said in her 18th birthday that one of the men she admired the most was this guy, the stepbrother. So you see here, you will see the father. You have to scroll down and you see the father. His name is Morten Borg. And then they said he met her when she was a waitress. No. Entire Norway knew that she was a drug runner. She was a drug dealer. And that, yes. And then look what they say. His parents were not in a committed relationship, but after a short affair, Mette-Marit became pregnant. They're trying to absolutely change the narrative. No, they were living together for years. The little boy was like 3 years or something like that when he met Håkon.
So this is crazy. I mean, like, so she was married to this guy and had a kid with this guy. This is what you're saying. They
were engaged. They were fully engaged, Ron. They were fully engaged, and people were saying, like, now they've changed the narrative. At the time, they said that they were living together. Yeah. They were living together. They were in a committed relationship. And the way that people don't understand is that even back then, Håkon, who is the crown prince, he wasn't to judge.
Just to clarify, right? We are basically talking about the Crown Princess of Norway, Mette-Marit.
I just want to clarify something. She's not Crown Princess of Norway because she's not of royal blood. This is something that I see a lot of the papers commenting on it. She's married to the Crown Prince. She's Mette-Marit, Princess of Norway. She doesn't get the princess title before him, but for some reason she's been called the Crown Princess of Norway. She's not. She was never crowned. She's not a royal. But this is very interesting because it's like people, for some reason, try to talk her as a royal. She's not. She was not a waitress. In fact, she was, they kept showing them back then. I actually tried to get that clip for you for this show of her dancing on tables because there was this notorious party show TV in Norway way back then of party girls. And Mette-Marit is there just flipping her shirt and, showing her goods and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's that was who Mette-Marit was.
That's wild. So the through marriage Princess of Norway, her ex-fiance and father to her son was a narcotics baron.
No, he was a convicted felon. He's a convicted felon
like legitimately. This is crazy. This is why people were up in arms. But the way they made you feel into acceptance, they shame you into acceptance. They shame you into how can you not be happy for this joyful union? Well, here's the thing. When it comes to smugglers, the minute you bring in smugglers with access to pilots, that's where you can start tying in transportation of a lot more than just narcotics. And we've seen it in survivor testimonies and things like this, how lucrative individuals with scalable pilot licenses. If you know anything about pilot licenses, it's all done on the size of the plane and the hours flown and all this. And the corruptibility of some of these predatory individuals who have these licenses are the gateway for these people to become connected through this criminal underworld. And it's wild to think that this woman is now potentially a royal. There's links with Epstein. Her past is to do with narcotics smuggling or whatever. Her ex-freaking fiance is in prison for proper organized
He was
crime.
convicted. He's now released.
Yeah.
And what Norway did, I mean, and people don't understand that the story, the official story that was put out was that Mette-Marit met Håkon at a music festival. This is a famous music festival in Kristiansand city in Norway that they do, right? That she just met him there and they fell in love. No, everybody knew that Mette-Marit was bringing him drugs. Håkon, I actually, I can't tell you which country it was, but I can tell you that we went to greet him because I used to work for the Norwegian embassies and stuff like that. And we went to greet him because he was coming on vacation in the late 1990s. He was coming to vacation in a country, and even though they don't go through regular immigration, but their bags and suitcases are searched. Yeah. People wrongly assume that royals are not searched or that they have some sort of immunity. They don't. Okay, so only the monarch. So what happened was that while we were waiting, I flew with the ambassador. We went because there was no Norwegian embassy where he was coming to visit. So the ambassador, we went to meet him. And while we were waiting there for their bags to be clear, we see that the police comes, like the VIP police. There's a VIP police that deals with royals and VIPs. And they, they whisper something to the ambassador, and I can see her face go red. And it's like, you see the car.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's up, puppet? Like I'm thinking to myself, well, it turns out they found almost 3 kilos of the white powder. I don't think it was sugar. And the authorities were pretty mad. He came with a girlfriend for vacation for 6 days. And that was a scandal, but nobody knows about it, because what happened is that Norway ended up donating hundreds of millions to this country just to keep this on the down and low. I
mean, it's, if we're talking about 3 kilos of powder, that is a far shot away from what the British royal family were covering up. And also the reason that we're giving you this backstory to these individuals is when people pop up in the Epstein files and then they make public statements about, it was just this, or I apologize about that. But their track record lines up with the mindset of individuals like Epstein, the criminality, the lack of morality. It really bolsters who needs to be dragged into court and be questioned about this. Now, I'm not saying that's where we're falling here, but there needs to be more results of these individuals being questioned. This is the time for it. And
well, the way I look at it, Ron, is like people like Epstein or these people who want to position women, because if you look at it, I call them the honeypot. I was talking to Barbara, and these women are honeypots. You have Sofia of Sweden, who's now is a huge scandal because she was an Epstein girl. Yep. You have Fergie, because Fergie is the one who brought Epstein in. Yep. And you have Mette-Marit, and you have Meghan Markle, and also Letizia, Queen of Spain, because you wonder, how do these men end up with these questionable women? Now, they find their weaknesses. Håkon, believe it or not, his weakness was drugs. That's how he ended up meeting Mette-Marit at that Kristiansand festival, music festival, because she was bringing him drugs, allegedly, for legal reasons. I have to say that. But even back then in 2001, he was a crown prince back then as well. His social circle is very tight. There's no way that somebody like Mette-Marit was hanging around Håkon and they just happened to meet, because he's always had bodyguards. So so when he met her at Kristiansand, that is a story that's a sanitized story that's put up for the public consumption, to make it palatable.
Yeah. And just to clarify, this is her son that's on the screen right now, right? This is the son.
Yes, that's her son.
This is the son. This is the son of the convicted individual, right?
Oh yeah, his name is Marius. Right now, he's on trial for 38 counts. Some of them are, sexual assault. And
this guy is.
Yes, right now the trial is going in Norway. He is. He's been remanded to prison before the trial because he was cautioned, or there was a restraining order that he violated repeatedly. And after violating the repeated order for the 4th time, that's why they decided to put him in. And he said, now he's crying. He was on trial yesterday. He's crying. You don't understand. I'm a victim because ever since my mom became married Hogan, my life has been a living hell. Let me tell you something that everybody knew about this man. A few years back, he hosted a party at the private residence of Hogan, the Crown Prince of Norway, his mom's house. And they filmed inside the residence, and it's all over the news. I think that they managed to pull it down. I couldn't find it on time to see you here. But they were filming inside the residence, which is a huge breach of security. Now, they stole, in Norway, the royal families, they get a credit card for gasoline. Gasoline is incredibly expensive in Norway. This is a stupid example, but just to let you know.
Okay.
They stole the card, the credit card, from the residence, and they used it for a whole year. I can tell you that the police knew about it, and I'll tell you why. Because whenever you use that credit card or that card to put gas in the car, they always write down the license plate. That's how they keep track of how much gas. It's not because they're being cheap. It's just to see a lot of times for engine efficiency, you know, if you have so much, and then you put how many miles. There's a little diary. You put the
it'll be to keep track of people not stealing gas from government money. I mean, let's be honest here, right? It's because people
they used it for an entire year, and the police knew. The police knew. I did a video about this man, and I said that because he was dating this famous actress in Hollywood. She's Norwegian origin, right? She's in a famous movie or something like that. I think it's a Star Wars movie or something like that.
Okay.
And she reported him to Mette-Marit and said he beat me up and he raped me, you know, he assaulted me. And Mette-Marit completely ignored her. In the video that I did, when I found out that he had been charged, finally charged, for beating a woman, when I read the address and I found out the name, I can't say the name because they're not allowing you to say that, right?
Sure.
So when I found out who it was, I said, he messed up with the wrong woman. Because, you know, Mette-Marit and the Norwegian society were okay if he was just beating up actresses or whatever, right? But once he touched one of their own, from one of the wealthiest families in Oslo, one of the oldest, wealthiest families in Oslo, and I'm not talking little millions, we're talking billions here. That's when he crossed the line. And I said in my video, he's going to be prosecuted for this. And then he was given a restraining order, which he had violated 4 times. I don't know why the police went easy on this guy, because clearly he can't control himself.
Yeah.
So now finally he's been put behind bars for the duration of the trial. And then
just to summarize here, right? It says, son of a previous relationship, Marius Borg Hoby, that's the guy on screen, arrested multiple times in 2024, is facing various charges, including R, in a trial this week. Days before his trial began on Tuesday, Marius was sentenced once again, accused of assault, threats with a knife, and violating a restraining order. Wow. Prior to the trial, Crown Prince Haakon confirmed that he and his wife were not planning on being in the courtroom, and that Mette-Marit was arranging a private stay in the coming weeks. The statement was just before the royal family was dealt another blow with the release of the batch of the Epstein documents. Among the more than 3 million pages published, the US Department of Justice on January 30th was correspondence between the Crown Princess Mette-Marit and convicted PDFL Jeffrey Epstein. Editor-in-chief say hello. The nature of the ton of the content, the messages has come as great shock to many in Norway. The fact that the Crown Princess Mette-Marit met Jeffrey Epstein both at his home in Oslo several years after he admitted the essay is difficult for many to accept. Wow.
I'm sharing with you as X and Twitter. This is insane, guys, because Mette-Marit, once you know what the link is with Håkon, then things make sense. Once you know that she was the in-between girl bringing the drugs to Håkon, allegedly, then you know where the link comes from. And then you know why this man is weak, because apparently when they met through that, he really took a shine to this woman. I imagine that him being in drugs, allegedly, and being with Mette-Marit. By the way, Mette-Marit was a skinhead. Absolute racist person, and I can tell you because I know she's racist, at least in front of me. So in 2007, I was stationed in some place because I was working, and I get a phone call saying, "Can you accompany Mette-Marit to this place?" Blah blah blah. So I went, and while we were at this place, she literally spoke in Norwegian, because a lot of people don't speak Norwegian; they speak English. And she said to me, she was there with women. Very poor women who had AIDS and stuff like that. She was there in official capacity, and it's incredible. She kept smiling. She goes, "Oh my God, these women are worse than monkeys. At least you can train monkeys, look at them."
Wow.
So, and she's smiling sweetly, and she was bored all the time. She couldn't wait to get the hell out of there. She always thought that her presence was more than.
It's crazy how much passive racism in people in powers are coming out in these Epstein files. Like, there's been so much of it, and it's see when you see the human condition presented to you from when humans think they're not being observed, right? Or they're in a tight-knit circle. You see the true nature, and it's so disgusting how many people have their own agendas, right? Because I was saying this last night, my agenda is always to the truth, right? And we were talking about Trump and things like that. And you only see actions taking place, like, for example, with the release of the files, when there is an agenda or there is something to hide. Because the way that this has been handled, I'm doing a show, I think tomorrow night or the night, I think it's tomorrow night, where I'm going through every single video that's been collated from the files. And I cannot explain to you how insane these videos are, okay? See, when you're traipsing through the files and it's one video and then there's another 100 files and another video, but when you see them collated and you can click on them and you can see what's happening, this is just thousands, endless victims, endless survivors are out there. And it's going to shock so many of you.
Yeah, they look at them less than human, Ron. That's the thing, that they don't think of them as humans.
Of course they don't.
You know that Mette-Marit, when we were at that very same event, we were moving from one place to another. I'm in the car. She just pulled out this white powder. I can't say what it was because I didn't taste it. I don't do. But I assume whatever you're shoving up your nose can't be sugar or salt.
Yeah, it looked like that stuff they do in the movies, right?
Exactly. So we were in the car, and I'm sitting there, and I turned, because I was at the front, and I turned back and I see her, like, and the assistant is sitting right next to her, and I'm like, the assistant is just reading her. Oh, you're gonna say this, hand it over the speech. I mean, and I'm like, she wasn't hiding it.
Yeah.
This is the thing. They get so arrogant and feel so entitled that they feel so untouchable.
It was probably vitamins, Paula. It was probably vitamins, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, primo Colombian vitamin.
Vitamin A, probably.
Vitamin C, I believe it is, you know what I'm saying? But it's wild because I was saying this as well, Paula. One thing you can't take away from Epstein, he was motivated, man. Like, he knew everyone. He was everywhere. Like,
but he knew their weaknesses.
Yeah. Well, his business, right, was blackmail and desire. Okay, and that desire could be totally legal desires. You're a dude or a woman that's into fully grown dudes and women. Okay, facilitated. You might be somebody that just wants to have beautiful 20-year-old Russian girls. Facilitated. You might be a guy that wants to, be left alone with a donkey. Facilitated. And all the way up to murder and the most horrendous forms of torture. And when you see the emails and them discussing videos of torture, right, so blatantly, like, there's nothing that these people were not desensitized to discussing.
Yeah, the thing is, though, that people look at Håkon and he looks like such an idiot. They're not very smart people. Mette-Marit is not that smart. She just gets this arrogant because a lot of people don't understand that. They say, oh, but the royal family, they really don't rule in the government. They really don't have any say. Are you kidding? Right now, and this is something that is very wrong in Norway, because Parliament voted to keep the monarchy 161 or 141 to something. They shouldn't be allowing these politicians who are all mired in this filth controversy, because they're all involved. Now there's come out that at least 6 or 7 of these politicians in parliament are involved in Jeffrey Epstein thing. Why don't they hold a national referendum? Because over 70% of Norwegians don't want Mette-Marit or Håkon.
Oh, I mean, listen, you would believe if she was the villain in a movie, like to this level of who she was involved with,
well,
how her son
her fiance
acts,
was happy. Her fiance,
it's crazy.
Her fiance
There's a question here, do you think Mette-Marit was groomed to marry Håkon?
Håkon, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if she was groomed. I just thought, what I think? It's just like Meghan Markle, or when they find themselves in this opportunity, it's like they're going to hold on to this. Even if she didn't particularly love Håkon, but it's just the position. And I know for a fact that her fiance, the convicted felon, drug felon, he was over the moon because he knew that if Mette-Marit managed to marry Håkon, the scrutiny over his life would be over. Because I gotta tell you something else. The Norwegian police has known that Marius has been handling drugs. There's even, I have a phone conversation, but it's in Norwegian, between the police and Marius, where they said to him, listen, the amounts that you were purchasing were not for personal consumption. To begin with. And then he goes, so what do you care what I consume? And then he goes, and the police goes, because it's illegal, dude. It's illegal, but the police knew. So and there's like a 15-minute phone conversation that the police recorded, right?
Yes.
And they knew. So they knew. They've known all along that he's been beating women. Mette-Marit, I don't know why the police, Norwegian police, is corrupt as hell. And I know this from personal experience. You know my journey with the Norwegian authorities.
Yeah.
And they warned Mette-Marit days in advance that they were going to arrest her son. So this is allegedly, but now the son has tried to clean that up. But back then he said, well, while I was in the shower, my mom came and she destroyed my telephone chip where he had sent all these messages. Yeah. So this woman has destroyed evidence. Yesterday in court, he was crying, no, I think that my mom came to cook my meal. Yeah, Mette-Marit cooking a meal. They have maids, everything, so he tried to now he's trying to blame, he's not bring. He's fortunate. You don't understand how horrible. I don't recall anything. The cocaine made me do it. It's like.
Yeah. Well, look. Do when somebody had asked you there if you think she was groomed, let's not use that word. But you could imagine that she's been pivoted or could be used as a pawn or as an inside individual. Because if you're willing to turn a blind eye to the activities of your ex-partner, that sets a precedent. You are an available, corruptible set of morals. And, and when we start looking at Epstein and we start looking at the bigger picture, he loved a royal in his pocket. He loved to be able to control and...
But it's the influence, Ron.
Yeah.
This is what people don't understand. And this was my point. Thanks for reminding me because I'm old.
Yeah.
But it's just that they may not have official government influence. But they have a hell of a lot of influence, that's for sure.
Yeah, of course, and money and
people
power.
Want to be there with them. And King Charles is famously known. I'm sorry I'm mixing right now, but I did my video yesterday about King Charles as well. Yeah. That his spider letters. The press had to take it all the way to the Supreme Court to have the letters released. Finally, from 2004, 2005, and we're talking about Bishop Peter Ball and everything. And what did Parliament do? Rather than say, because they knew now that the court had sided in the side of transparency, immediately within 6 weeks, they changed legislation so that all correspondence between royals and Parliament is now permanently sealed. So you know what I mean? It's because they don't want that exposed. So Charles was meddling in politics. He was meddling in farming politics and everything. And then why? They're supposed to not be politicians or meddling in that, but they do have huge influence. And this is why royals get in places where politicians usually wouldn't. And that is where they become deadly. And that is a terrible influence because they have that kind of access. Prince Harry right now is in the Aspen Institute, which is basically, the Aspen Institute is literally an organization that regulates or is aiming to regulate and censor free speech. Why is the Prince of the United States? Why is the Prince of the United Kingdom in that Aspen Institute in the United States? We have all of this happening. Mette-Marit saw the opportunity. Mette-Marit is a grifter. She saw the opportunity, and the reason why people don't understand, she's lying when she says that she knew Jeffrey from 2011. That is absolute BS. She knew him from way before. She was flying to New York. She was one of his party girls way back then. People are not asking how and when they meet. Have you noticed how the press is...
Could we not argue that she was promised a fantastic husband for services in the Epstein world? Allegedly, maybe. I'm just saying, because it seems like, and we're going to get to girlfriends in a minute, right? Because did you all know that Epstein had a girlfriend, like a legit... Oh, yeah. So we're going to be talking about her.
Who was best friends with Meghan Markle, by the way.
We're going to talk about it over this weekend, I'm telling you, because, oh, man, I read over the will and testament of Epstein. And
Oh yeah, and Epstein left $10 million to the
she was left everything, mate.
This Norwegian famous diplomat. So
Yeah.
I am telling you, and it makes you wonder, and this is where we come to Mette-Marit and this email where Epstein is exchanging emails saying, you know, like, what about Mette-Marit? She wants to carry your child now? That's the email we're reading right now.
Yeah, so hang on.
It says you should schedule. This is from Boris Nikolic, which really tight with Mette-Marit. You should schedule your trip to my island. Did you tell anyone about our Mette conversation, Marco, etc., young people? And then just done. There was a response. Just done with DARPA, MTG management. And then he goes, "What happened with Mette now? She wants to carry your kid." And then for Epstein to say Mette is a mess. Epstein is saying that Mette is a mess.
Yeah. He actually, I do believe he refers to her as twisted.
Yeah. That she's not
just to be clear, Jeffrey Epstein is saying that this woman is twisted. Okay, just to put that in perspective here. Jeffrey Epstein thought she was a bit much. Okay? Mad.
But people don't understand that. People don't understand that.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like she's asking to, and people think because she said it. And at the time, Ron, I did a video and I said, I'm going to share with you something else. At the time, I did a video when she issued the apology. I did a video and I said, Mette-Marit is apologizing for having had, because she was aware. She goes, I was aware that he was a PDF, but I didn't know what level. Because in an email, she said, I Googled you, I found you interesting. So people wrongly assume that she met him there. That she just Googled and she just found him. No. This is afterwards. This is after he was convicted. She Googled him and they were interchanging emails and say, I Googled you now. But Mette-Marit allegedly has known him since at least late 1990s, 1999, 2000, when she was flying to New York. People, you know what would be great to get her immigration records, her travel records from 1999 till 2000, because in 2019, she was exchanging emails with this guy, and she saw him in Palm Beach, allegedly, because her hairdresser, there's a lot of information that's not coming here, but in Norwegian, there's a Norwegian newspapers, Epstein's hairdresser is saying that he cut her hair in 2019 at West Palm Beach. But she only apologizes because at the time, the email communications were from 2011 to 2013, right? Yeah. Also, people forget that back then, emails and selfies were not a thing. Really, literally, I when I was working for the government, they would give me a BlackBerry, which was the top of the line, and the camera was crap. We couldn't even listen to music on phones. We had the iPods from Apple. It wasn't until like after 2010, 2011 that the camera started to get better, and then we could listen to music. We didn't even have a touch-tone phone. It was like, that was what Steve Jobs revolutionized. So there was a lot of these things that this woman was counting on not coming out. But VG, which is the Norwegian newspaper, just interviewed Jeffrey's hairdresser, and he said, in 2019, right before he was arrested.
Do you know what I'm loving? I'm loving everyone that was just been lying and lying and lying who are now cooked. Okay. And I'm so here for them doubling down on their lies and getting double cooked, because the accountability has to happen here. You know, and I said this yesterday, if we're in a business meeting with Jeffrey Epstein years before he was convicted of being a monster, and that's where it ended, sure. But if you are friends with Jeffrey Epstein, have been to the island, have been emailing him about pizza and about, exactly what we know what you're talking about, there needs to be accountability. And this woman, I'm sorry, but in the grand scheme of the lore of Epstein, it's not out of the question that he could possibly have been hand-picking individuals, creating meetings, being part of putting powerful people together. Now, I'm not saying that's what's happened, but it's certainly another weapon in his arsenal for control. 100%.
Yeah, but it's funny because people are shocked that Mette-Marit brought her 2 kids to meet Håkon. So meet Epstein. So it's very interesting. They're talking about, let's meet halfway through the church. They're coming and I'm in the stand. I mean, this is insane.
This is insane.
And people, there's this guy Crypto who's saying, he's saying in Norwegian, he goes, this is not necessary. Let's not forget that the king fought to have, people are still defending this kind of behavior. Now, we know that Epstein wanted to impregnate women. I was talking to Barbara, and Barbara was saying that the goal of Epstein was to put children, his seed, in royalty, with royalty. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So people should really be wondering what the hell is going on with, here, this is another one with Mette-Marit. This is where Håkon went with them to a dinner, but then he didn't go to the party. So this guy, Boris Nikolic, is going to be Mette-Marit's date. This is Jeffrey Epstein. Boris Nikolic is one of the closest type things to Mette-Marit. You're greatly missed here. Was calling you with Mette the other day. It's fun, but it's super intense. Every day from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. nonstop. Tonight I organized a very small dinner with Bill. By the way, Bill Gates, because Bill Gates was in Norway meeting Håkon and Mette-Marit. David Rubenstein, Mette, Håkon, Consuela, few other interesting. I'll let you know. After that, some hottest after party in Davos. This is in Davos. Going at Mette's date. On Saturday, going to London, and then all starts again. And Mette-Marit didn't want to be in Norway. She found it boring. And this is this guy's called an extremist, and he goes, "Are people forgotten that Mette-Marit destroyed evidence in relation to her son's sexual assault?"
Yeah, wild.
The BITCH is a criminal. Kärringa kriminell. It's so funny how Norwegians speak.
Paula, we just got a quick question that just came in. I think it's a good time for you to pick up on it. Is Mette-Marit the mother of the future Queen of Norway?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, she's the equivalent of Catherine of Wales.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good question, Disco. Good question. It makes a lot more sense to me now that it's been put like that. Because this is a lot. You know what I'm saying? And this is what's interesting about the Epstein files. Over the weekend, we're going to be looking at some other clips of experts in their fields, doctors, psychiatrists, that are picking up on people that we wouldn't pick up on. Okay, like renowned surgeons and people that are specialists in forms of psychology and things like this, because we need to see the full web. Because Epstein was in with everybody. And we need to start looking at his grand plan. Business is business is business, okay? And that's what he was running with all the people in the files. It's money, it's business, it's control. But what was Epstein's plan? And that's what I'm trying to pick away at.
Dirty everybody. If you
I think
about it, you infiltrate people. And I'll tell you this because I'm doing a whole video about this. Meghan Markle, a lot of people don't understand why suddenly Meghan Markle and Harry popped up in the Canoan Island in 2023, October 2023. Yeah. This is literally a drug front. Okay.
Yeah, no, listen, I get what you're meaning, but you got to understand the mindset of man, Paula, right? A man, right? He is going to never see what he has as enough, and he is going to have an end game in his mind that he wants to achieve. And it's so, we can't just assume it's money or just round it off the power. This man had a plan. And looking at what his girlfriend was left, okay, looking at what she has control over, I wonder how many Epstein Juniors there are ready to step in.
Absolutely.
Out of the limelight, Paula, under the radar, right?
This is the thing that people should understand. People should be blood testing Ingrid Alexandra, because I saw a comment. Somebody said, "Oh, don't talk about the poor children. What they're not." Well, wait a minute. Back the truck up a little bit here.
Right.
What if Ingrid Alexandra is not Håkon's? Because they're trying to conveniently stage that Mette-Marit only met Håkon after 2011. When and where? But they haven't provided how they met, because they know it goes way back further than that.
It's just, it's not going to stop. This is just not going to stop. This is just going to keep going.
And this is part of the Constitution of Norway, by the way. It says the Constitution of the Kingdom of Norway, Article 37, the royal princess and princesses shall not personally be answerable to anyone other than the king or whomever that he decrees to sit in judgment of them.
Oh wow, that's like the mob. That's like the mass.
Literally immunity.
Yeah. And listen, hey, if you just so happen to be part of an international substance smuggling and human transportation business, that perk works out pretty well for you, Paula. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. And this is another email. I mean, this woman, this is on 2013, June 26, 2013, from Mette-Marit.
Oh my God.
She's so stupid, because she would use, you know what's insane? She would use the official email.
HK
Crown Princess, Her Royal Highness Crown Princess. Thanks, I will try. I'm emailing directly with Jeffrey. Hello, Princess Mette. Just following up to see if you might be available to come see Jeffrey tomorrow, Thursday, June 27th. Please let me know if it works for you. And then there's the emails where she admits that she's unfaithful, where she's saying, this is a great, she's setting him up for whatchamacallit, with Scandy's woman. She says that Scandy's women are the best, right? Except me, of course, because clearly she's a cheater, right? So, and then he goes, and then she goes, she's talking.
Can you do me a favor, Paul? Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? Can you please just stop idly scrolling through Twitter? It freaks me out so much when we're on a live and people are scrolling through it.
Sorry,
just in case.
This is King Harald's sister, the king of Norway's sister. And she, in 2004, she said that she would not want to see Mette-Marit sitting on the throne. And also she warned about Marius on the throne.
Yeah.
About Marius Borg, which is Mette-Marit's, son, the eldest young man. That he's sitting his trial is right now ongoing, Ron.
Yeah, it's hard to sort of deny that you don't feel like there's way more to this. It feels like, I mean, this is another massive royal scandal centered around the same individual that we have with our royal scandal. And where's the snowball going to end, Paula?
Well, the funny thing is that I want to say to something that people maybe don't know, Ron, but it's very interesting. It is very interesting that people don't understand that the royal family is not like us. We just don't get on a plane. Absolutely not. It's like, hey, Ron, I'm coming to Edinburgh or whatever. I'm just going to go through the airport. No, it doesn't work that way. The government knew exactly when and where Mette-Marit was going, because for security reasons, I'll give you a little example, a very recent example. And I know that because I work with the Norwegians. Mette-Marit, even for vacation, even for a 2-day visit, there's a lot of ongoing. This is why she couldn't just go out of this on the spur of the moment.
Yeah.
This is why there's planning, even in the emails with Epstein, she's saying, I have to do this because security has to be informed, because she flies with security. So the government knew exactly where she was going, who she was meeting, and sometimes they would come and case the joint or the house where they were in to ensure that everything was safe. Do you think that the security did not go to West Palm Beach with her? Of course they went with her. So the government was aware where she was, who she was talking to, and they were okay with it. It's just when they get exposed that things happen.
That's a really good point. You know, if this woman was nipping out to see her good chum Jeffrey Epstein, it certainly wouldn't be like us jumping in the car. It would be an ordeal.
No. So and people are going, "Oh, poor Håkon. What? He didn't know." Of course he knew, because even when she was meeting in Paris with her boyfriend, because in the email she's talking about how this man made her feel like the most loved one. She didn't want to be in Oslo and all kinds of things. She's admitting to cheating on Håkon, right? So. Even nipping over to Paris, she's going with bodyguards. The bodyguards, she has to give an agenda. For security reasons, if anything happens to her, the French government is informed that a VIP is coming. And most of the times, even for personal, I told you just now that we went to meet Håkon when he came to vacation at this ex-country, right?
Do you know what, Paula?
We flew with the ambassador to greet him, even though he was coming for 6 days or 5 to 6 days vacation. I'll give you a very, very recent example. Princess Eugenie. Princess Eugenie is not even a working royal. She flew to Nicaragua in 2017 where she got engaged with Jack Brooksman. My friend who owns a restaurant in Nicaragua was phoned by the British consulate. There's no British embassy in Nicaragua. The British consul phoned my friend's restaurant 2 days prior. They spent New Year's at my friend's restaurant, telling her that Princess Eugenie was going to come. Day before, she had security come and look at her restaurant to determine what Eugenie was going to sit with Jack. And the VIP police was involved. This is the British consulate for a non-working royal. That's how they do it. And Mette-Marit going to Paris to meet Håkon or going to whatever she was going, the government is deeply involved. They know exactly where she is at all times and who she's meeting in case something happens security-wise. They have to be able to do this. So the government knows. They're all involved in on it. And they all look the other way.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Any sign of Danish royals involved? Scandinavian monarchs are very good friends.
Well, Mari Donaldson, the Danish, she's not really an Epstein girl. She was a well-educated lady from Australia, and she met what's his name, Frederick in Australia in some sort of things, and she was she's not like the other ladies. So this is why you don't hear scandals from Mary Donaldson. Her name was Mary single name was Mary Donaldson. As far as we know, she didn't have anything to do. She was a real professional. She was in advertising and all kinds of things, and she was I think it was at a regatta or something like that in Australia when they met with him. As far as we know, no. Frederick is, well, but now we know that Frederick was involved in this huge scandal with a mistress in Spain who is shady at best. I think he met her through a hunting, there's a hunting club, very elite hunting club. Apparently he met her there. And that was a huge scandal with Mary Donaldson. This is why the Queen, it's believed, stepped down and elevated Frederick as king, as monarch, so Mary Donaldson wouldn't leave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Paul, I just wanted to, you're welcome to scroll and put anything back up on Twitter. It's just in case, like, you accidentally scroll past, like, some crazy, like, TOS.
No. Everything I post on Twitter is vetted, you know, like.
Oh, okay, is that your just honestly, Twitter.
Yes, because Twitter's not allowing a lot of things right now, believe it or not.
Okay, because I'm traumatized from the actual Twitter days. Maybe I'm not used to the X.
No. Right now, Twitter is locking people out.
Okay, so X is a little less traumatic just to randomly scroll through than Twitter used to be, because Twitter used to be a liability.
No. They're literally, you're not allowed to put anything.
Okay, so this is on your page. Okay, this is your page. So you vetted.
By the way, happy birthday, Cristiano. Happy birthday, Cristiano.
God. I'm so sorry, everybody. Like, you were just idly scrolling, and I'm like, is this just open X?
No, this is my page. This is my page.
Yeah, that's fine then. Okay.
So we're having a lot of scandals right now, guys, and like Camila was asked just recently to talk about yesterday she was asked, Camila's silent when asked about Epstein's victims. She's an ambassador for domestic abuse, and this is another thing that's very, very concerning, because Mette-Marit, oh, by the way, this is so funny, because Mette-Marit was just some organizations cut ties with her, right? And one of the organizations that cut ties with us, it's called, if you translate it to English from Norwegian, it's called Shameless. Which basically, yes, it's for women who were...
Scroll back up. She needs removed from this position. Okay? Camilla. You're being
Camilla's
asked...
the one. Camilla's the one who brought back Fergie. Camilla lobbied to bring back Fergie.
Hell no, Camilla.
Yes, Camilla managed to lobby bringing back Fergie. She put it in the court circular, and they did an engagement with her son, Camilla, because Camilla was really good friends with Susan Barantes, which is Fergie's mother, who allegedly had an affair with Prince Philip. Why would you go out of your way to befriend, a queen's rival? That is so disrespectful.
Jeez. No, it's disrespectful is too small a word.
Yeah, but the thing is though, Ron, they always insert themselves with the most vulnerable. And this is why I always said these women are the hunting grounds, because then we have Mette-Marit bringing 2 Scandi girls to Epstein.
What did I say earlier about how people act shady? It's because they have an agenda. That, Camilla, you should have been standing your ground for the victims as an ambassador of abuse.
Yeah, but she was asking. Wow. Do you want to hear what they're asking
Majesty.
her? They're asking her.
Yeah. Pretty cringe that she couldn't get through that door as quickly as she wanted to as well. That must have been the longest few seconds of her life.
Do you have a message for Epstein's victims, Your Majesty?
Of course she doesn't.
Nah.
She's a predator herself. Let's not forget what they did to Princess Diana. She was only 16. This is so funny. It goes conspiracy theories right now. Too bad I can't play the song but it's so funny. It's like an 80s song. It's like, but and people don't understand that they're so arrogant. People were going, why is Andrew going on a horseback ride? Like, there's nothing happening to him because he's protected. He knows that.
Here's a real scary point. They're using these charities to find victims to use. Like,
absolutely, they're hunting
it just makes sense. It's just a good business model, Goldie, right? It makes sense that if you're a royal or an elite who is partnered with an individual like Epstein, that great for the side hustle business having access to the most vulnerable individuals in the world. I feel like I want to go and smash plates on the wall outside. Like, it's been a while, Paula, since... Like, this is so complex and dark. Do you know the only thing that makes it simple, the Epstein files, is because it's everyone. It's everyone in every aspect of what we know as the hierarchies of our societies and world. It's just mad.
The thing is, though, Ron, I've always said this. This is really funny. They sent the Mother of the Year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sure, yeah.
It is incredible because Mette-Marit is even, I'll tell you one thing that these people, not right now, I'm showing you this. Son of Norway's crown princess holds back tears, giving evidence at great trial. It's like, now he's the victim.
Wow.
Now he's the victim. And the police called this lady who is a very famous presenter in Norway, right? And they called her. And she didn't know why, because she was very good friends with Marius, right? This is, and let me finish this so because then I'll forget. And she didn't understand why they were calling her to the Oslo police. So when she arrives, and they asked her, do you know about this party? Because believe it or not, he was doing all the graping and everything while Håkon and Mette-Marit were having breakfast or dinner upstairs. Because he was living in the royal residence. Okay? And then the presenter's going like, yeah, I went to that party. And he goes, but I'm a friend of his. He's that sweet guy and everything. Until they showed her a video of her. And they even asked her, have you ever been intimate with him? And she goes, absolutely not. We're just friends. She's much older than him. She's just a sweet boy, And she was telling the truth. And then they showed her the video of Marius and his mates having their way with her. She couldn't believe it. She thought it was fake. She was crying. So they drugged her.
Oh my God.
And then they shared the film and everything.
And this is in his court case?
Well, it's gonna be for sure. Yeah.
Oh my God.
She didn't know that she had been filmed and that they done that to her.
That is, I mean, I'm not being funny. I'm looking at the picture of this guy holding the pew and the money in his trousers and all this stuff, right? And Epstein had to build the Epstein empire, right? And you know when something is yours, you kind of appreciate the road that it took you to get there, even if it's in the evil empire world. This is like a tiny Epstein who's been handed everything and is going wild.
Let me read to you what it says. It says, based on reports from the ongoing trial of Marius Berg Høiby, the 29-year-old son of Norway's Mette-Marit, a woman testified that she believed she was raped by him after being drugged in 2018 and was not aware of the incident until police informed her years later. The incident, the alleged rape, occurred at an after party in the basement of the Skagum. Skagum is the residence. That's what they stated. This is the private residence of Håkon, right? The Crown Prince's family residence in 2018. The woman referred to in some reports as a television presenter testified in court February 2026 that she had no memory of the event, which she described as a big black hole, and suspected she had been drugged. The discovery of the crime, she reportedly learned about the alleged assault when police contacted her and showed her videos of the incident which were found on Marius's phone. And you know what his defense is? He denies it. He says he doesn't even remember either. And then he says here, he started to cry in court, that he's heavily sedated. I am sure that he didn't care about the tears of his victims. And that's what makes me so angry, Ron. He goes, during his first appearance in court on Tuesday, he was seen shaking. He's understood have had hospital treatment overnight. Høiby, they go by his last name, was arrested on Sunday on suspicion of assault and wielding a knife and remanded in custody for 4 weeks. However, he did not return to custody before his statement on Wednesday. He took a seat in court, and after several minutes, appearing to be overcome by the occasion, he regained his composure and told the court he had had a lot of sex, drugs, and alcohol abuse. He had an extreme need of validation. I'm known for being mama's son, nothing else. Oh. He told the 3 judges, few can relate to the life I've led, of course, a life of extreme privileges, and he got away with so much, and he knows it. A lot of parties, alcohol, some drugs. And then he says that it's because of he needed to be his own man. And then he agreed that he had a lot of mental issues. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest, right? My brain is completely doing 5,000 miles an hour on what all this means, where it all adds up, and where this is going to stop going. I mean, this individual that we're talking about now, this is like tiny Prince Andrew. It's like Prince Andrew Jr. here.
But this guy was worse. This guy was worse, Ron. I'm sorry to tell you, this guy was much worse because this guy was literally committing the crimes like for real. Like, you know, with Andrew, they were paid, but they were not paid. Right now, there's another one that says that the lady who was asked to dance, but then they ended up doing something else under a lot of pressure, you know.
Yeah.
But this guy was literally, and he becomes so blatant, you know, he becomes so blatantly open, just like I told you, Mette-Marit was doing white powder in the back of the car. And this is not something that anybody told me.
You can see by the emails, Paula. Look how they're talking. When you read out that email about her asking to meet up with Epstein, that's how 2 friends would be sending an email. That's not how business, you know, oh, I'd like to arrange a meeting, blah, 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 blah. Please contact, blah, 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 blah. That was 2 chums chumming it up in Chumsville.
Yeah, and the thing is that, you know, like it is, there's this Hollywood actress. Apparently she went and talked to Mette-Marit about it. She's at Hollywood. I'm trying to find her name. Mette-Marit knew about it because many women came to her and said, this is what's happening. This is what's happened.
Yeah.
And Mette-Marit simply just ignored it. And the royal police everybody knew, as I said, everybody knew. They allowed him to miss him and his friends are all criminals, because even in the phone conversation that was recorded I could play it, but it's 15 minutes and it's all in Norwegian. The police are telling,
probably not the best one to play then, Paula.
The police are telling him though. The police are telling him, we don't care who your family is, and you can hear him at his entitlement. Yeah. You can't tell me what to put up my nose, and the police is like, actually, we can't do it because that's illegal. And the amount that you're hanging around with. And we're not here to tell you to be a snitch, but we're watching you. And he goes, why are you following me? I'm used to being followed because I know how to deal with the entitlement is off the charts.
Also, I just want to point something out as well. I feel your pain, Ingrid. I think a lot of people are feeling burnt out with all this, right? So what I want to suggest to everybody is whenever I do a show on the channel, I'm going to do all the stuff that's in the title within the first sort of 20 minutes of the show, so that you can grab all the condensed information, and then moving forward in the show, we'll expand, we'll deep dive into other things. I might have a bit of a panel element to it, because there's so much of this that, so for example, my background, it's the predator side of things, it's the elites, all of that. Paula is in the royals and the elites and all of this. And I wouldn't have picked up on the importance of all of this without Paula being here, because my focus is elsewhere. So there's other people like Paula that are picking up on stuff that Paula and me and other people aren't picking up on, because it's not our world, if that makes sense. And some of it is mind-blowing. Like, it'd be one thing if it was just all royals, right? Because it'd be like, oh, here's the business plan. He intercepted royals. He did this. It's freaking everything.
You see the guy with the glasses? That is Mette-Marit's son with Håkon, because she has 2 kids. She has Ingrid, which is the oldest, and you have Sverre. That's a horrible name, Sverre. Sverre is the boy. If I were the royal family, if I were the government, and they will never do this, they should have a DNA thing to see if those kids are actually Håkon's.
Do you know, this kid, I think this guy, Borg here, he clearly was given Game of Thrones as a child, and it was emulating...
He's incredibly ugly.
No, you know, what was the name of the little psycho blonde king in Game of Thrones? Someone will tell me. That's who he is. That's who he is. He is, that is who he is. Is it Joffrey? He is Joffrey. Madness. It's freaking madness.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I'm shook. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Did you see the emails from Woody Allen talking about how many tickets do you need for the PDF convention in Paris? And that's how they said it. And he's making jokes about, if me and so-and-so are in a room together, is that too many PDFs in one room? Laugh out loud. Like, that's where they've got to on the level of desensitizing and discussing and being open with things. In these emails, it's just freaking mind-blowing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I mean, and he's ugly as hell. He's ugly as hell, and the girlfriends are hot. And the only reason why he got women is, I'll show you this because maybe you'll see this. Because Nora Haukeland, for example, she's very hot. I'll show you who she is right now, so you can.
One more intrusive thought. One more intrusive thought. Can you imagine all of this, all of the victims, all of the survivors, before the internet, before you had a voice to anyone? It's so hard to just imagine how terrifying any sort of essay is. Terrifying, right? But
and Mette-Marit, the email that Mette-Marit sent Epstein about her giving her son.
Paula.
Did you see the email Mette-Marit sent Epstein asking if giving her son, this little boy here, a poster with 2 naked women doing stuff was a bit too much? Even Epstein said, it's up to you, bro. Oh,
she is the equivalent of like a roadie. You know, or like one of these like fangirls. She gives off fangirl energy. Look at me, senpai. Look at the crazy thing I did for my son. Look how twisted I am, senpai. Wild.
And you know that their answer to this has been to literally shut down the comments on their social networks and stuff like that, which is insane. They should be transparent. The king has not said anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will show you something because I'll show you my in my Twitter feed. You can see because I've been talking. I talked about.
Oh God, Paula just disappeared. Oh my God. Well, that's how easy it is to lose Paula. Hopefully she'll be back in just a minute or two. But honestly, my brain is spinning with all this, and yeah. Listen, diplomat. I'm sorry. This is definitely more of a discussion than an interview. But my head's spinning with it all. It really is just never ending. I don't know what happened there, Paula.
Yeah. But I like, people are very angry. And the thing is that people feel helpless because, yes, a lot of information has come out of the Epstein. But now what? Now what? This is the Crown Princess of Norway in the Epstein files asking Jeffrey Epstein about showing nude photos of women to her very young son. The son who grew up to be a serial, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is me saying Camilla brought Fergie in from the cold. The last time that Fergie was in a court circular, which is official engagements, was in 1997 until 2016. When and I gotta tell you, it's all these women because Camilla is the downfall of King Charles.
Yeah, it's almost like birds of a feather flock together. I mean, we're talking about the wife of Andrew, the disgraced monster, who you never know how relatable that could be to Camilla based off of the actions of Charles as well.
Like this had I call this the Epstein honeypot. Mette-Marit, Fergie. Because now apparently we find out that Fergie knew Epstein before she got married.
Yeah.
It's coming out. And then you have Sophia of Sweden, who was an Epstein girl. Now she's gone into hiding, married Frederick of Sweden. And then you have Meghan Markle.
Oh my God.
And you have Queen Letizia, of course, you know. But it's unbelievable. These people have infiltrated everywhere. They're everywhere. And then we have Andrew considering abdication when the Queen pulled the security from Andrew's kids. Oh, this is Sean yesterday. I'm in the Epstein files. I saw that
yesterday. Right.
Yeah.
The only man that had a smile on his face about being in the Epstein files. I want to point
yes. And the thing is that recently, Mette-Marit, and this is the tone deafness of people, and this is why people feel so angry, because their response is to double down. This monster who didn't have any pity for his victims, he was enjoying them, and he goes, why would I have videos and things of women that I've assaulted, you know, because they're called trophies. You know, the police got a hold of them. The woman didn't know that she had been raped, you know. And this
That's
is, you know,
scary.
Yes. And this is why I said a snake cannot give birth to a dog. Eugenie and they're following, they're right now, in my very humble opinion, exploiting all the connections their parents made.
Yeah. The story with the Latvian girl's crazy as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially when you see the new pictures of Andrew.
Yeah, they're saying that people are so sorry that Marius is crying. I'm sure, and I said, I'm sure Marius' victims were also scared, and he didn't care. So when I tell you that these are all Jens Stoltenberg, I'm so happy at the former head of NATO. He's getting what he deserves. He made my life a living hell. And this is Mette-Marit. For some reason, the corrupt Norwegian police warned Mette-Marit days in advance. Who would warn you that they're going to arrest your kid? They don't. That was just to give them time to clean things up.
Clean up, of course.
This is Håkon. I mean, Norwegian, but they double down. Like they double down. Marius was 2 days ago put in the hospital because it's
oh
so
my
much for
God.
him, right? There was so much for him, and who went with him? The Crown Prince of Norway was there, and both kids, the future Queen of Norway. Why would they be? And this is called public support. You know what I mean? Because the four of them went to see Marius at the hospital because poor little boy, he's 29. This monster's 29. This is Mette-Marit. Says newly released documents in the Epstein case alleges Mette-Marit was pregnant by Epstein.
Like, Paula, this is the biggest scandal. Like, this is beyond what anyone could have ever thought was coming. I mean, obviously you've been reporting on it years, and it just blows my mind. Kelly, that's going to live in my head rent-free now for a while. I think Andrew's teddy bears are his trophies. Like, that's... Oh, man.
And what is incredible, Ron, because the press is complicit. The press is absolutely complicit. Yesterday, there was a demonstration. I didn't even know about this. My mate, who's in the Met Police, sent me a WhatsApp, and he goes, Paula, did you see that there's a demonstration? The police has been called. Because Charles was at Buckingham Palace, he had to be evacuated because he was attending a dinner later on at Windsor, right? But he had to be removed, and the police was called. And I go, what are you talking about? Well, apparently Republic had staged a thing, but it was gathering a lot of public. People were coming because people are angry. Look in the mainstream media for that demonstration outside of Buckingham Palace. None. No mainstream media coverage at all. And the police was there, but you don't hear about it. And people are saying, you know what? The people are coming back to me in the comments. Well, Charles doesn't live there. I never said he did. I said he had to be removed from because he goes to Buckingham Palace for work and office and stuff like that, right? And you can see that the flag was up. And then you can see while that demonstration is going, the flag was lowered down. So people, they have their defenders and the mainstream media. Prince William, he was heckled in Sterling about the Epstein thing, asking him how, and I reported on it. And people, well, it's not in the mainstream media. AI is not reliable because AI only gathers information from mainstream media. And if the mainstream media is lying to you, you're only going to get that information from them.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I'm fully on board. The media completely is part of all of this. I mean, it really is. Sorry, the side chat's doing a really good job of derailing my thought process with a lot of things that have been said that just make a lot of sense. You guys are killing it in the side chat.
You know what I said? That this post here, X first tried to ban it. They locked my account, but then they put it back. I appealed. I can now see how they will fix the Mette-Marit and Marius problem. She won't get the lung transplant she needs, and she won't survive, and her son will go to jail because right now she has lung problem, right? And she needs a transplant. And people are wondering because people are saying, oh, this is Eugenie at my friend's restaurant in Nicaragua. Here. They're saying goodbye to December 31st, 2017. Everybody at that restaurant knew of the engagement because they told everybody, right? But my friend agreed not to say anything until after they they made it public. So she published this on January 24th, 2018.
Yeah, it's oh, Paula.
This is Marius Borg-Høivi, son of Crown Princess Mette-Marit, faces 38 charges. 38 charges.
38.
Well, he has accepted that he beat up his girlfriends. But he doesn't.
You mean he's accepted?
Oh, yeah, he partially accepted that he was driving too and that he had the white powder because he can't refute it. But he says that those pictures and those videos in his phone, they are not grape. No. So he was pulling, who was it that was drugging the
the girlfriends and was raping them? Who was doing that?
A broken chandelier and a knife buried in the wall.
Oh, this is oh my God, yeah. This is Celine Middelfart. This is she has an unfortunate last name, but this is Håkon with his former girlfriend prior to Mette-Marit, his official girlfriend. She was from an incredibly wealthy family in Norway. So people are thinking, just think what could have been.
My brain's trying to work out the blackmail business model for getting this many women associated with Epstein into so many royal families.
Yeah, this is Norway's largest center for sexual and reproductive health and rights has terminated its cooperation with Mette-Marit. And the thing is that the Red Cross is thinking about it. Then how can this woman was embedded with young, vulnerable women? They should not allow these people. And she was emailing with Jeffrey. I have 2 girls for you. It's like.
But in some ways, infiltrating the royals is genius because the governments will go out their way to protect the royals way more than the royals will go out of their way to protect the governments. And, oh man.
This is what I said. It is always the ones fighting for women's rights, the ones to watch out for. Mette-Marit, Princess Beatrice, and Eugenie. Eugenie has this women's vulnerable one for traffic women, you know. She's embedded in that. The same thing for Beatrice. Beatrice was just recently in Davos talking to as Her Royal Highness, which means that she was Beatrice.
Didn't Harry have a normal, nice girlfriend before Meghan?
Yeah, but they dumped him. He had Chelsea David for 8 years and then Cressida Bonas. You know, Princess Beatrice just now was holding talks with Secretary General of the Muslim World League in Switzerland in regards to women. Why was Beatrice there?
This is going to sound pretty out there, right? And I don't know the chemistry behind this, right? But could we be looking at a league of Epstein fembots, right? Like women who are in positions of power, and some sort of chemical that's getting put in people's food or whatever that has the effects of the scopamine substance, but isn't going to OD them as easily. Because if that was to be the case, beautiful women intercepting men of power to then turn these men of power into zombies, the royals would be a much better place to test run all of that than government before you launched it. And if that is the case,
they're not that beautiful. Mette-Marit is ugly as hell. Mette-Marit is, I can tell you, she was ugly way back. She's ugly now. Meghan Markle is no great beauty. You have Sophia of Sweden. Yeah, she's cute, but there are not these extreme beauties that you would say, wow, he was mesmerized by this woman. The press plays it up more because Meghan Markle in person is not ugly, but is not attractive. Her skin is awful. And Mette-Marit, I know him in person, and you wonder what these men could have their pick of beautiful women, and they end up with these women. Why? Because they attack their weaknesses. Håkon was drugs, allegedly. Because that's how he met Mette-Marit, allegedly. Her fiance, she was living with this man. Now they're trying to downplay her relationship with Morten. Oh, they just got together. No, they were together for years. When she met, when she got engaged, and the fiance was happy. It's like, yay, you know, we hit the jackpot. It is. And Martha Louisa, Håkon's sister, is insane. She's married to this gay man in Norway. This black gay man in Norway from the United States who is a con artist. So, and Norway allowed the wedding because guess what this gay shaman, black shaman said to the crown prince, to the king, because the king didn't want to give his approval for the wedding, and met Martha Louise, she's crazy. And I've met her. She brought him to the palace. You know what he said? He said to the king, if you don't give your approval, I'm going to go to Oprah because you're being racist, just like the royal family was with Meghan Markle. And King Harold, who doesn't like controversy, was terrified because the royal family, the British royal family, remember that thing with Oprah, that interview? It backfired on Meghan Markle and Harry, which exposed them and confirmed that they're both of them, natural born liars, spiteful little brats. But the king didn't want that because public perception is the most important thing. And Norway is all about being progressive and everything. So they used their race card on the king. And the fact that I'm actually going to do a video about it. I mean, it is insane. This guy is absolutely insane. They even did a Netflix show on him. There was the Netflix show where he's the shaman and he talks about it. The man is gay. Please understand, people. The man, it's not that it's not even a question whether he's gay or not. He is gay. And I mean,
Man.
Yeah, you don't know that? Never heard of that. He's a black shaman.
Okay.
This is him.
All right.
Let me see if I can.
No, I don't know if I recognize him.
He's a black shaman. He's in the Netflix show. This is him.
Okay. He looks like a young, sassy Anderson Silva, if I'm being honest. He really does, actually.
He wants a royal wedding. That's not going to happen. Martha Luis only wanted a single wedding. That's not going to happen. I want my moment. I want my moment.
Yeah.
He's in the Netflix show. You can watch it. He's on Netflix. The guy is as gay as they come. Her ex-husband, Ari Ben, the writer, was a very, very nice guy. He unalived himself while I was in Norway. I believe it was 2019. They had 2 children, 2 or 3 kids with Martha Luis. They got divorced because she thinks she talks to angels. So this man found her weakness. She was living in Los Angeles, California, and she met the shaman because, of course, she was recommended the shaman who talks to angels. It turns out that he's a big fat fraud, as they usually are. So these people know their weaknesses. That's how he got into Martha Luis, because he knew that she's into all that crap of angels and stuff like that. So somebody introduced her to this guy. And now this guy married this obvious gay man, married this princess, and now he's part. And he was like threatening. If you watch the documentary, they're threatening the king. I told him, I'm going to do an Oprah interview. I have that clip I'm going to show because, you know, they're not going to pull Meghan Markle on me. So this is why I said these people study and know their weaknesses. Prince Harry, drugs, and of course, problems of grandeur, because Harry thinks he should be king. And Meghan Markle has him, right. Saying, you know, and Meghan Markle saying to him, yes, you should. You're better than William. No, but so she stroked his ego with drugs. And he's stupid because Harry's stupid. We know that. Håkon is not smart. King Philip.
Yeah, there's definitely.
I met King Felipe of Spain in 4 occasions. He's a lovely guy, not very smart.
Yeah, there's definitely patterns here across these stories, whether it's the elites and blackmail or the possible infiltration of royals, the way these princes have acted. It's all starting to fall into place. I just can't see the finished puzzle yet.
It's insane, Ron, if you think about it.
It really is insane, Paula. It is really insane.
You have these people, and this is the danger, and this is why so many victims feel helpless and hopeless. Yeah. Because these are people, and the racism plays a huge part of it.
Of course.
The satanic rituals.
That's another level of superiority in their mind, right? Like, if you're going to do horrible things to kids and women and vulnerable people, you may as well being a racist at that point's kind of like, you know, secondary. So that level of superiority in your mind, you know, it's mind blowing the levels of evil that are coming out in these files.
Did you see that video of that Colombian supermodel? She went to one of these. It's all over Twitter.
Yeah, Gabriela. I covered it. I covered it the other day. Yeah.
Gabriela, it's like she's freaking out. She says they don't translate it properly, but she says it's from Spanish to English. She goes, "I know that they killed. I didn't think they would eat them, though." Yeah. So she admits that when she went there, she knew who these people are, and she knew that killing others was like they normalize satanic behavior to such an extent that they make you feel that there's something seriously wrong with you if you don't go along with this kind of behavior. It's you. You are not progressive enough. You're not open-minded enough. So that's how they frame this whole thing wrong. There's something wrong with you if you don't get this behavior. They try to normalize it, and they use the mainstream media. They've
been trying it for years. They rebranded the traditional word for PDF to maps about a decade ago, minor attracted person, to try and slip it in that way. They've tried to do it every which way they possibly can, and it all has blown up in their face. Okay? There's so much now that the public, the general, the regular Joe, shall we say, has access to whilst they're having a coffee in the morning. Short form content has made people being able to absorb these long cases a lot easier. And all of you need to keep this going. You need to be sharing this. You need to be doing your own research. Anytime you see somebody presenting things from the Epstein files, they should be producing a link to the government source on it, because you're going to start seeing the public being manipulated. We see it with every single instance of a trending topic where one side will start AIing this or AIing that. So keep your head on when you see something. Double check it yourself and make sure you keep up to date with what's going on, because it truly is weaponizing a web of lies. Is going to happen. Something major, and when I say something major, there's already been major things, but there's going to be a catalyst that someone's forgot to black out or something. Make sure you double check everything as these things drop, because you want to make sure that you're pushing out the truth. That's what you need to stay loyal to, is the truth. Has anyone found Jay-Z yet? Great question.
The thing is though, that people like me, people like you, people like Sean, Lauren, we are silenced, trash, and criticized. What do you know about this? A lot of times, you have an accent. Well, yeah, I speak 4 languages, or I have an accent in all of them, but doesn't make me stupid. I mean, I work with these people. I know what they do, and I've seen it firsthand, and this is why I quit, because it got to a point where I was like, I can't go. This can't be real. This can't be right. And I was actually thinking about it, like I did a video 2 days ago because I interviewed Paul Page, and then I suddenly see him disappear from X page, right? And then one of my mates at the Met Police said, they're all angry, but the powers that be still go along with the monarchy. They got instructions that they should round up every Royal Police Protection Officer for the past 30 years, if they're still alive, and basically caution them that if they speak to anybody, give any interviews in regard to anything, they will go to jail immediately, no due process. So when I talked to Paul Page, because I sent him, "Are you okay, dude?" After I did that video, I go like, I should reach out to him, because he's being very quiet on X. And then him and I he goes, after I told him what I said, he goes, "Okay, now it makes sense." People should understand that the royal families, there are rules of behavior. But the problem is that the people in charge of enforcing these rules are also corrupt, the parliament.
Yeah. Well,
so
just
that's how you pull people up. The last time that the royal family was checked was with Edward VIII abdicated. But then we had that the Duke of Windsor was a traitor who, thanks to him, almost 10,000 people in London died because he was given information. He should have hung. Nothing happened.
Yeah. Well, just what you're saying there about how long Sean has been covering this for almost a decade. You've been covering the royal side of it for years and years. I've been covering things for years and years. I've got a documentary I'm re-releasing that I made, I think, 6-7 years ago, and all of the signs and evidence were there pointing to all of this. And it's really interesting. You know, when Jimmy Savile was busted, and then we all rewatched old Jimmy Savile footage, and it was like, wow, we should have known this guy was creepy. It's kind of the same feeling when you're seeing everything that you've been said. This person was a liar. That person was a liar. Isaac Cappy was this. You know, the Clinton email indoor small table tennis scandal. Everyone getting fired. That, you know, channels getting banned. All of it. Like, this is the moment for every single person that got slapped down to rise up and push this out. I know it's complicated. I know there's a lot of it, but the victims and the individuals who are responsible for creating those victims do not deserve complacency from us when it comes to these files. But the victims and the individuals who are responsible for creating those victims do not deserve complacency from us when it comes to these files. It's a big job. We've got to cover as much of it as we can and piece together. Because I'm telling you now, I want to know Epstein's grand plan, and I want to know the stuff that isn't in emails and isn't written down. Because when we look at the people that we have, if we can put eyes on these people, they're the bottom of the ladder. Okay? Regardless of how powerful they are in our eyes or our society, they are the bottom of the ladder. If we can see them, they are the bottom of the ladder in this empire. And there is so many more layers than the first layer of the onion, and that's what we've just peeled off.
It is interesting, Ron, because, you know, I also did videos. I've done videos not only about the royal family, but also decoding crime and other things, and call this out. And people, for some reason, now we have Bill Gates. Oh, I didn't know. I have not. And now we see the emails that they knew. There's even this email that came out where this guy is saying, what are you doing in West Palm Beach? Somebody, you don't get to be a billionaire like Bill Gates by being stupid or naive.
That's bullying. No, that was bullying that caused that. High school bullying, Paula. A lot of high school bullying. Do you know how much you need to be bullied? I can't remember what comedian said it, but do you know, like, how many times you got to be shoved in a locker before you decide to take over the world with computers? A lot. Okay. But you're right. These people are complicit. Bill Gates, how scary is this, right? Bill Gates gets an STD from Russian girls supplied by Epstein. Bill Gates asks Epstein for the STD medication so he can secretly give it to his wife. Bill Gates doesn't get it.
I gotta tell you something. Melinda Gates is not innocent. She knew what was going on. What took Melinda Gates so long to divorce Bill Gates is that she consulted with a bunch of lawyers to see how much money she would get, because on that very same podcast that she's crashing Bill Gates, is like, oh, I'm living my best life with a bunch of billions that she got from Bill Gates. Because this is like the mother who knows her daughter is being abused by the father and looks the other way. And looks the other way. She knew. She was aware of this. This wasn't something that overnight she found out. She knew this behavior was ongoing for quite a few years, and she chose to look the other way until she was sure that she had a way out with billions. And now she's living her best life. And let Bill answer that. No, Melinda, you were also in that relationship, and you saw what was going on.
Yeah, but this is the point I was trying to make. Bill Gates has now been linked to investing in being able to deploy medicine with insects and small drones. Do you know how much of an evil genius you have to be that scared of your wife that in order to try and get a medicine in her, you've got to invest in robot mosquitoes to deliver it? Like, that is Star Wars madness. Star Wars madness.
But you don't really need to. Somebody like Bill Gates has enough resources that he can make his own antibiotics and just live in on Melinda Gates whenever he wanted. You know, it's like, you know
I do.
I'll give you $3 million to the maid. Just mix it in her juice and just give it to her.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You know what I mean? But these people are on a level of crazy, a level of evil, a level of spiteful pettiness backed up by billions. Okay. Oh, there she is popping up in the background there. What's happening?
Princess.
Yeah. She's like, there's somebody at the door, Mom. Somebody at the door.
It's my son who's leaving. She doesn't like it when my son leaves.
Oh, well, there we go.
That's Siri, guys. You know, like the app.
Yeah.
Siri, shut up. Oh, no. But you know what I mean? It's like these people are satanic.
Yep.
And what they're trying to do, or they did very successfully for many years, was use religion against you. Oh, that's a religious thing. Or use open-mindedness, or use a female movement. Oh, that's women's liberation to be great. And if you're not okay with that, or, that's women's liberation to have a child bride, or that's women. Do you know that Lauren Vanderpost, the South African poet, was one of King Charles' closest and most influential associates in his life? He was the one who introduced Charles to alternative religions and rituals. Okay, he impregnated and had a child with a 14-year-old child when she was 14 when she gave birth to that child. Okay, he was married, and he's very well appraised. Now it's come out after he died peacefully in London in his mansion that he had a preference for girls who had just had their first period. He loved that. 15 you were too old. So he was and this is the guy, Lauren Vanderpost, who he's declared to be one of the closest people to Charles, who influenced him enormously in that. Princess Diana, she was ridiculed by Camilla. Camilla recommended that Savile be their marriage counselor. And Diana confessed that she couldn't stand Savile, that she felt he was a reptile, a snake. She couldn't stand him and she didn't understand. And they vilified Princess Diana. What was their answer? Declared her crazy. So that's what they do to people like us. They're not conspiracy theories. These are legitimate questions.
Yeah, they are.
Things don't add up.
They don't.
2 + 2 does not equal 130. And we're like, but they want us to say, no, it equals 130. And there's something wrong with you and the way you think. You're not progressive enough. You're not religious enough, because they want to normalize. They want to gaslight people into believing that Satan is okay. Hurting children is okay.
Yep.
Hurting women is okay. Degenerate behavior is okay. A victim is not really a victim. She wanted it. She got paid.
Yep. And they're happy to play the long game. They want to see this slowly transition in society, and it ain't going to happen, man. The world ain't about to shift into a sympathetic mindset for PDF files for individuals like the Epstein, the elites, all of it. And, I'm a bit of an expert in the occult side of all of this when it comes to the ritualistic, the sacrificial horrors, the individuals behind it, and all of that. And I think I might start slipping in a show every week about the cult of Epstein and looking into why it's so prevalent. The full story is known. You have to understand the business side, the money, their personal wants, their religious, their spiritual side. Because the minute you take one of those away, that's a subsection of survivor who isn't being heard. We have to look at it all. And man, it would just be so much simpler if evil was not the result of the manifestation of the acts of man. There's no other creature on our planet, by the way, capable of evil. We're the only ones. And
they don't attack you. They don't attack your facts. They attack your character. When they can't come back to your facts, they attack your character. She's crazy. He's crazy. And the word conspiracy theory came from the CIA. That's how they branded it in order to discredit it, because conspiracy means to conspire, to create lies, to create a theory out of lies. So from the moment you branded conspiracy theory, it's already being branded a lie. That way it conditions your mind not to believe it, to discredit it, not to take you seriously. So I think, and I've always said that we shouldn't call it a conspiracy theorist. It's called genuine questions. We're really asking questions because that's what we do. It's like, wait a minute, this doesn't add up. This isn't right. Can you please answer this to me? You know what I mean?
I do. And listen, in closing, Paula, I think we can both agree that the world has never been so close to watching twisted suns have the opportunity to set and for them not to rise again. And there'll be a lot more coming on just iconography. Symbology is something that I'm fascinated by. You all know that. And it is
the sun.
Listen, no, we're going to get that. Let's just give them a little bit, little dusting, Paul, a little dusting of that, because I've gone deeper with that, and once we start talking about the logos inside the most secret places in the world and things that represent these groups, it's, you got to get it out in a way that's everything's out. Okay. And now if I die of food poisoning, everything's out. Do you see what I mean? It really is one of them.
But I've always said that the internet was going to be the downfall, because now,
of course,
you may try to gaslight people because they still control the mainstream media. They do. Make no mistake about it. They control the mainstream media still, because these are people who are fighting to their last breath. This is why they're trying to censor. Prince Harry's promoting right now censorship on the internet. Not because they're unsafe. They're hiding behind the cloak of privacy. You're violating our privacy, so we can't talk about it because it violates my privacy. No, wait a minute. Your privacy ends when a crime starts. You can't claim privacy
100%.
when you're committing a crime. That doesn't qualify that. Yeah, and they only want the elites only want the press to report on the good things they do. Yeah. So they present that distorted image to the public, so they get elected, they remain in power, or they remain popular, because we don't know the full truth. So they hate it. This is why Prince Harry's fighting the courts, because he doesn't want people to know he's an abusive drug addict. We have King Charles right now promoting censorship. We see it in the United Kingdom, the levels of censorship that there is. Yeah.
Well, listen, something popped up on my feed last night, and I just want to touch on this before we end the show, Paula, because I don't think it was last year. I think it was 2024. I'd done a video where I'd taken all of the women, the singer Saya, right, who's got that young girl doing these dance moves in all her videos, right? I broke down, I think, 2 or 3 of her videos, because there's a whole bunch of weird stuff hidden in a couple of our videos, talking about, offer yourself with me so we can burn together, and the shadowing of trafficking and the surroundings and the rooms and the metaphors is mind-blowing. And the girl from that video, I can't remember her name. I've got it here somewhere. Just give me a second. There we go. Maddie Zeglier. Allegedly, her name popped up in the Epstein files, and there was a plan to take her to the island, and then somebody intercepted who knew Jeffrey Epstein and what he was like, and saved her from all of that. So I'm going to scratch at that and have a look and see what I can find on that, because Saya and her relationship with that girl was always questioned. Now, it's interesting because Maggie has nothing but incredible things to say about Saya. But the way that Saya portrayed everything publicly, she wanted it to almost feel weird. And I almost feel like she was acting in not inappropriate in a R-word way or anything like this. Like, Maggie has nothing bad to say about her. And I wonder if Saya was projecting that and hiding these messages in there so that people picked up on her behavior and were then looked into the hidden symbology more. And we're going to delve into that because it is mad. The video's mad. The things hidden in the background are mad. And we've got to look, because these people put things in our faces, right? And it's important that if we can put together symbology and hidden meanings and all of this, we got to do it, because
also, I just want to say to people to please support us by watching our videos, liking them, because just by putting the word Epstein or saying it on a video, literally YouTube, it won't promote your video. Our videos do well in spite of, not because of. Because,
you guys are the ones that are making it happen.
I have a team that looks at my stuff, and they said, because I always put hashtags, and they said, no, remove the Epstein hashtag. And I said, why? Because they go, because automatically YouTube shuts it down. I just wish there was a platform where that didn't happen, But this is so, please subscribe to Sean, like his videos, because he's been doing a fantastic job. He's been one of the forefront people doing all of this, and people who they haven't backed down, and victims, sometimes the people who protect or try to give a lending hand to the victims or give them a platform, we might not get it right all the time, but we try our best, The The whole idea is for people to know that they have a platform to come on and talk, because that is very important. You know,
Yeah.
so.
Well, thank you for coming and joining us, Paul. Obviously, we'll be doing a lot more as we unveil the horrors. Thank you, everyone, for keeping up with all of this. I know it's a lot, but we've got to do this. This is the opportunity. This is the time. This is nothing like this has ever happened, and hopefully never happen ever again. But we need to look at the possibility of this is just going to be business as usual. They've shifted into their next stage of their plan, and yeah, just got to keep an eye on. Stay vigilant, everyone. Stay loyal to the truth. Paula, thank you so much. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to the Sean Atwood channel. For me, Ron Swanson, as always. Be safe out there, guys. Peace.